You have been lied to about success. Not by marketers. Not by gurus. By your own brain. The lie lives in your neurons, placed there by evolution itself, and it feels so good that you defend it even as it destroys you. The lie is this, that setting a goal makes you more likely to achieve it. Write it down. Visualize it. Feel it. The entire self-help industry is built on this delusion. And your brain loves it because when you set a goal, dopamine releases. Not a lot. Just enough. Your brain registers the goal as partial completion. You feel relief. You feel hope. And in that moment, you have chemically rewarded yourself for doing absolutely nothing. This is not motivation. This is sedation. Machiavelli did not write about vision. He wrote about force, structure, and the removal of alternatives. When Lorenzo de' Medici consolidated power in Florence, he did not do it with goals. He redesigned the architecture of decision-making so that every road led through him. He did not rely on his willpower to wake up inspired. He made it so the city could not function without his involvement. This is the first separation between those who feel and those who build. You are still operating inside the feeling. You wake up motivated some days. Other days you don't. You rely on discipline, on forcing yourself. This is the life of a laborer. You are dragging stone. The sovereign does not drag stone. He builds the road so the stone moves whether he is there or not. In 1532, Francisco Pizarro arrived in Peru with 168 men. The Inca Empire had 80,000 soldiers. Pizarro did not win because he was braver. He captured Atahualpa, the emperor, in a single afternoon. With the head removed, the body convulsed. The empire collapsed not because it was weak, but because it was designed around a single point of failure. Now ask yourself, where is the keystone in your life? Not in your goal. In your environment. In your calendar. In the default action your body takes when your mind is tired. Most men have no keystone. They have 100 fragile intentions, and they wonder why a single bad week destroys months of progress. This is where most men collapse. They think the problem is motivation. They think they need a stronger why. They don't. They need to stop requiring motivation entirely. Before we go further, let me clarify what I mean by structure. When I say structure, I do not mean routine. Routines fail. You have tried routines. You followed them for 11 days, then missed one, then the routine was gone. Routines require activation energy. Structure does not. Structure is what happens when you remove the need to choose. It is the elimination of decision, the closing of exits, the construction of inevitability. In the 1980s, a behavioral economist discovered something strange about retirement savings. Two groups were offered the same plan. Group A had to opt in. Group B was automatically enrolled and had to opt out. The difference in participation was 73%. Same people. Same incentives. Different default. The masses believe they are free. They believe they make choices. The architect knows that freedom is the enemy of outcome. Every choice is an opportunity for failure. Every decision is a tax on energy. The goal is not to make better choices. The goal is to make fewer choices. This leads to a darker truth. You do not lack discipline. You lack design. Discipline is what you call the friction between who you are and who you are trying to become. It is the effort required to override your environment. And effort depletes. The more you rely on discipline, the more you are admitting that your life is structured against you. The sovereign does not fight himself. He does not wake up and wrestle with whether to go to the gym. These are not choices in his day. They are conditions. When John D. Rockefeller built Standard Oil, he did not do it with passion. He did it with vertical integration. He bought the barrel manufacturers. He negotiated contracts that punished railroads for working with his rivals. He did not rely on being smarter or working harder. He built a structure where his competitors could not survive even if they were smarter and worked harder. He made their failure inevitable. Now look at your life. You are trying to out-discipline your environment. You are trying to resist the junk food in your house, the apps on your phone, the people who drain you. You are trying to be stronger than the structure. This is why you fail. At this stage, I need you to understand something about power. Power is not what you can do. Power is what you cannot avoid doing. The alcoholic in rehab is powerless. But when he returns to the same house, the same friends, the same bar on the corner, he is even more powerless. Not because he is weak. Because the environment is stronger than his resolve. You are not different. You live in a structure. The question is whether you built it or inherited it. Most men inherit their structure. They eat what is in the house. They do what is expected. They scroll because the phone is in their hand and the app is designed by men with PhDs whose job is to make resisting impossible. You are not fighting yourself. You are fighting a billion-dollar incentive structure. And you are losing because you think the solution is willpower. The elite do not fight. They redesign. A CEO I studied does not keep his phone in his bedroom. Not because he is disciplined, but because if the phone is there, he will use it. He does not trust himself. He trusts design. His assistant does not have his personal number. His calendar has no gaps. Every hour is assigned. He has removed the possibility of distraction not through effort, but through architecture. This is what separates the sovereign from the slave. The slave wakes up and decides what to do. The sovereign wakes up and the day has already decided. If your success depends on you showing up inspired, you will fail. If it depends on you feeling motivated, you will fail. Because you will not always be inspired. And on the day you forget why you started, if that is the day the structure collapses, you were never built to last. The test of a structure is not how it performs when you are at your best. It is how it performs when you are at your worst. When you are sick. When you are heartbroken. When you are bored. What happens then? For most men, the answer is nothing. The work stops. And 6 months later they are starting over, again. It won't be different. Not until you build something that works without you. During World War II, the British examined bomber planes that returned from combat, mapping bullet holes. They were about to reinforce those damaged areas when a statistician named Abraham Wald stopped them. He said, "You are looking at the wrong data. The planes you are examining survived. The bullet holes you see are where a plane can be hit and still return. The planes that were hit elsewhere did not come back. Reinforce the areas with no bullet holes." Most men are reinforcing the wrong areas of their lives. They focus on motivation because that is what they notice when they fail. But motivation is not the problem. The real problem is the structure that fails when motivation is absent. The solution is not to get better at being motivated. The solution is to build a life that does not require it. Consider the chain smoker. He does not smoke because he decides to every 20 minutes. He smokes because the cigarette is in his hand, the lighter is in his pocket, and a craving is a signal his body obeys. The structure is flawless. Trigger, action, reward. No decision required. Now consider your goal. Is there a chain? Or is there a gap? Most men have gaps everywhere. They want to write, but the laptop is closed. They want to train, but the gym is 20 minutes away and they have to pack a bag. Every gap is a decision. Every decision is an opportunity to fail. The elite remove the gaps. The writer does not close the laptop. It is open, on the desk, document loaded, first sentence already written. He does not have to start. He has to continue. The difference is existential. Starting requires energy. Continuing requires momentum. And momentum is the most valuable resource you do not understand. You work hard for 3 weeks. You see progress. Then life happens. You miss 2 days. Then 4. Then the momentum is gone. You think the problem is consistency. The problem is that your structure has no resilience. A resilient structure is one that bends without breaking. The sovereign does not aim for 2 hours at the gym. He aims for 5 minutes. Not because 5 minutes is the goal, but because 5 minutes is unkillable. You can be sick and do 5 minutes. You can be busy and do 5 minutes. 5 minutes does not require motivation. It requires presence. And once you are present, the structure takes over. 5 minutes becomes 20. 20 becomes 40. But none of that happens if the requirement is 40 from the start. The masses aim high and collapse. The elite aim low and compound. Compounding is the most misunderstood force in human behavior. The structure that survives is the structure that compounds. The structure that requires heroic effort dies the moment you stop being a hero. At this stage, we need to address the identity problem. You believe you are the kind of person who is disciplined, or you are not. All of this is theater. Identity is not a truth. It is a pattern of action, reinforced by environment, repeated until the brain accepts it as self. You are not a writer because you feel like a writer. You are a writer because you write. But if writing requires you to feel inspired, you will write inconsistently, and inconsistency prevents identity formation. The brain does not build identity around sporadic action. It builds identity around reliable action. So if you want to become something, you do not change your belief. You change your environment so the action becomes reliable. The elite do not try to become disciplined. They create conditions where discipline is unnecessary. There is a story about Victor Hugo. He was struggling to finish a novel. He kept getting distracted. So he gave his clothes to his assistant and told him not to return them until evening. He sat at his desk naked. He could not leave the house. He had removed every alternative. He finished the novel. This is not discipline. This is the elimination of choice. When Hernán Cortés landed in Mexico in 1519, he burned his ships. His men could not retreat. There was no backup plan. There was only forward. You still have your ships. You still have your exits. The junk food is still in the house. The distractions are still on your phone. The toxic people are still in your contacts. You have not burned anything. So when resistance comes, you retreat. You take the exit. And the structure never solidifies because you never made it inevitable. This brings us to the most uncomfortable truth. You do not want it enough to remove the exits. Not because you are weak. Because you are still negotiating. You still believe there is a version of success that does not require sacrifice. And as long as you believe that, you will keep one foot in the old life while reaching for the new one, and you will fail. The elite do not negotiate. They decide, and then they destroy the alternative. Every day you keep the exit open is a day you spend energy wondering if you should take it. You think you are preserving freedom. You are preserving friction. Freedom, in this context, is not power. It is weakness dressed as optionality. The powerful do not maximize options. They maximize inevitability. Amazon does not rely on Jeff Bezos waking up motivated. The company runs on automated workflows, algorithms, supply chains designed to eliminate human decision. Bezos built a machine that operates whether he is present or not. You are still trying to be the hardest worker. The sovereign is trying to build the most efficient structure. And efficiency, at the highest level, is the elimination of dependency. If your business depends on you answering every email, you do not have a business. You have a job. If your health depends on you feeling motivated every morning, you do not have health. You have a streak. And streaks break. The goal is to build something that does not break when you do. This is where we introduce the concept of the second self. Your first self is the one that wakes up tired, distracted, resistant. Your first self is human. It has bad days. It gets bored. It wants comfort. Your first self will betray you. Your second self is the structure. It is the environment you built, the defaults you set, the decisions you automated. Your second self does not have bad days. It does not get bored. It does not negotiate. When your first self is weak, your second self carries you. The masses live entirely in the first self. They wake up and ask, "How do I feel today?" And their day is determined by that answer. The elite do not ask. The day is already built. The first self is irrelevant. Here is how you build the second self. You examine your day and identify every moment where you currently make a decision. What to eat, when to work, whether to train. Every decision point is a vulnerability. Your job is to eliminate it. Meal prep is not about health. It is about decision elimination. When you are hungry, there is no choice. The food is already made. A fixed calendar is not about productivity. It is about decision elimination. When the alarm goes off, there is no negotiation. Removing apps from your phone is not about focus. It is about decision elimination. The distraction is not available. This is the transition from willpower to architecture. And architecture, unlike willpower, does not deplete. You think this sounds rigid, robotic. You think life should have spontaneity. It should. But you have confused structure with prison. Structure does not eliminate joy. It eliminates waste. The hours you spend deciding what to do, resisting distraction, fighting yourself, those hours are not joyful. They are exhausting. Structure reclaims those hours. The sovereign is not less free. He is more free, because he is free from the tyranny of his own indecision. Most men have no structure, so they have infinite flexibility and zero progress. The elite have total structure, so they have constrained flexibility and compounding progress. The constraint is the source of the power. You are waiting for the moment when you finally feel ready, when you finally have clarity, when the fear goes away. This is why you are still where you are. Certainty does not precede commitment. Commitment creates certainty. The structure does not feel right until after you have built it and lived inside it long enough for it to become normal. In the beginning, it will feel restrictive. You will mourn the freedom you think you are giving up. And in that mourning period, most men quit. The elite endure the mourning. They understand that discomfort is the price of transition. And on the other side is a life where the thing you once had to force becomes the thing you cannot imagine not doing. This is identity shift. And it does not happen through affirmation. It happens through accumulated evidence. Every day you show up, even when you do not want to, you are building evidence. Your brain is watching. After enough repetitions, the brain updates the model. You are no longer the person trying to be disciplined. You are the person who shows up. But this only works if the structure survives long enough for the evidence to accumulate. The resilient structure is the one that survives your humanity. It assumes you will have bad days. And it is designed to continue anyway. The fragile structure says, train for 90 minutes, 6 days a week. The resilient structure says, Move your body every single day, even if only for 60 seconds. The fragile structure says, write 2,000 words. The resilient structure says, open the document. One requires sustained excellence. The other requires presence. And presence is achievable even on the worst day of your life. This is how the elite build empires while the masses build streaks. Now, we need to discuss the social dimension, because this is where most men are structurally sabotaged. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You have heard this. You have done nothing about it. Why? Because changing your social environment feels like betrayal. But let me ask you, are they abandoning you by keeping you small? When you tell your friends you are starting a business and they laugh, they are not protecting you. They are protecting themselves from the discomfort of watching you outgrow them. When your family tells you to be realistic, they are not being wise. They are being afraid. The sovereign does not ask permission. He observes who accelerates him and who drags him, and he reorganizes accordingly. You do not need to cut everyone off. You need to become strategic about exposure. Limit the inputs. Control the exposure. Your environment includes the voices in your head. If those voices are mediocre, your actions will be mediocre. The masses are egalitarian about influence. The elite are ruthlessly selective. Let me address time, because time is the resource you are wasting most. You think you do not have enough time. You have the same amount of time as everyone else. The difference is that your time is fragmented, interrupted, stolen by 1,000 micro-distractions. The average person checks their phone 96 times per day. Each check fractures focus. By the end of the day, you have spent 6 hours available and productive for maybe 2. This is not a time problem. This is a structure problem. The elite do not manage time. They manage attention. And attention is managed through environmental control. Notifications off. Phone in another room. Email checked twice per day. Deep work protected in the morning. These are structural decisions that remove the possibility of distraction. You are still trying to resist distraction. The sovereign has made distraction unavailable. If you want to save money, you do not rely on remembering to transfer money to savings. You automate the transfer. You cannot spend what is not available. Attention works the same way. If you want to focus, you do not rely on remembering to ignore your phone. You remove the phone from the environment. You cannot be distracted by what is not present. This is the difference between intention and design. Everything I have described is not about working harder. It is about working inevitably. The masses glorify effort. The elite glorify design. Effort is what you expend when the structure is bad. If you are exhausted at the end of every day, you do not have a work ethic. You have a poorly designed life. The goal is not to maximize effort. The goal is to maximize output per unit of effort. And the way you do that is by removing friction. Friction is every unnecessary step between intention and action. The elite spend their time eliminating friction, not overcoming it. A writer does not keep the laptop in the closet. It is on the desk, open, document loaded. There is no friction between sitting down and writing. An investor does not manually review opportunities. He has filters, automated alerts. The friction is in the system, not in his day. A CEO does not decide what to wear. He has 10 identical outfits. The decision is made once. These are structural eliminations of unnecessary cognitive load. Your brain has limited decision-making capacity each day. Every trivial decision depletes that capacity. By the time you get to decisions that matter, you are running on fumes. This is decision fatigue. And it is why you make your worst choices at night. The sovereign does not fight decision fatigue. He eliminates decisions. Warren Buffett does not look at 100 investments per day. He looks at 1 or 2 per year. He has criteria, and if the investment does not meet them, it is discarded instantly. The structure decides. This is the power of constraint. When you have 10 goals, you have 0 focus. When you have 1 goal and 10 structures supporting it, you have inevitability. Now, we arrive at the final principle. You do not need a better strategy. You need to become structurally incompatible with failure. Most men fail because failure is easy. It is available. It is the default. The elite have made mediocrity structurally impossible. How? By removing the conditions that allow it. If you want to stop wasting time on social media, deleting the app is not enough. You will reinstall it. Some men give their passwords to someone else. Some remove their credit card from the App Store. Some use screen time limits enforced by a partner. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. You are designing around yourself. If you want to stop eating junk food, willpower is not the answer. Not keeping junk food in the house is the answer. If it is not there, you cannot eat it. If you want to build a business, hoping you will find time is not the answer. Blocking time on your calendar, telling your family you are unavailable, physically going to a location where work is the only option, that is the answer. You are making success the path of least resistance. This inverts everything you have been taught. You have been taught to build discipline so you can resist temptation. I am telling you to build a structure so temptation is not present. You have been taught to believe in yourself. I am telling you to stop relying on belief and start relying on design. Belief is a feeling. Design is a fact. And facts do not care about your mood. You think this sounds like control, like removing all joy from life. You have mistaken chaos for joy. You think spontaneity is freedom. But what you call spontaneity is reaction. You are not choosing joy. You are choosing distraction from discomfort. Real freedom is not having unlimited options. Real freedom is having a life so well designed that you do not need to escape it. The elite do not need vacations from their life. Their life is the thing they want to be doing. Let me leave you with one final image. Imagine 2 men. Both want to build wealth. Both are intelligent. Both work hard. The first man wakes up every day and decides what to work on. Some days he is motivated and works 12 hours. Other days he is tired and works 2. He is reactive. He is governed by how he feels. The second man has automated investment contributions. He has a business with systems that run without him. He has a calendar where deep work is blocked and protected. He does not decide whether to work. The structure has already decided. 10 years pass. The first man has made some progress. He has worked hard. But he is still trading time for money. He is still starting over every Monday. The second man is wealthy. Not because he worked harder. Because he built a structure that compounded without requiring him to be exceptional every day. The difference was not talent. It was architecture. And now, you have a choice. You can continue to rely on motivation, on discipline, on trying harder. You can continue to believe that the problem is you. Or you can accept that the problem is not you. The problem is that you are operating inside a structure designed to make you fail. And you can rebuild. Look at your environment. What is in your house that should not be there? What is on your phone that is stealing your attention? Who is in your life that is making you smaller? Remove it. Look at your calendar. Where are the gaps? Where are you leaving success up to chance? Close them. Look at your defaults. What happens when you are tired? What happens when you are bored? Redesign them. This is not self-help. This is structural warfare. You are at war with a world designed to sedate you, distract you, extract value from you. And you will lose that war if you fight it with intention. You win by building a fortress. You win by making your success inevitable. And you separate yourself from the masses the moment you stop asking how to be more disciplined and start asking how to make discipline irrelevant. That is the line. On one side, the laborers, the dreamers, the ones who try. On the other side, the architects, the sovereigns, the ones who build. If you understand what I have just shown you, if you see the structure beneath the surface, comment the word architect below. Not for me. For you. Because the moment you type that word, you are declaring that you are no longer governed by how you feel. You are governed by what you build. And what you build will outlast you.